Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming out in this weather. Welcome. This was the world premiere of Pauchi Sasaki's Mother's Hand, Healing Hand. My name is Eunbi Kim, and I'm a pianist and the host of It Feels Like. It's a 4-night series that I've created as artist in residence here at the Greene Space. I'm just going to adjust so that I can see more people. This piece you just heard was inspired by a Korean traditional chant that my mother used to sing to me as a child when I was sick. And it's called 엄마 손은 약손, which translates loosely to mother's hand, healing hand. The literal translation is mother's hand, medicine hand. The composer Pauchi Sasaki took a sample of my mother singing this song, which you can hear in the performance and the electronics, and you can hear my voice as singing as well. And this opening video was a clip from a home video of my mother singing to me and my sister as children. Joining me on stage are Wick Simmons on cello and Lauren Cauley on violin. And we are going to start this evening with having them share a little bit about their moms. So Wick, would you like to share a little bit about your mom?
Where to begin? Well, we all have them. I think I'll talk a little bit about the relationship I had with my mom. I think when I was younger, it was very, very different between us. I don't think we got along nearly as much as we do now. As I got older, she became more of a friend of mine as well as a parent. In fact, there are times that, that can get a little confusing, but when I talk to her, I can say, okay, I'm talking to my mom right now. Okay, now I am talking to my best friend right now. And I think that's a very special relationship that I sustain with my mom.
Thank you, Wick.
Yeah.
Lauren, do you want to share something about your mom?
Sure. My mom is, this is my mom. If you can see this picture, this is us last summer in Vermont, which is where my parents live and where I grew up. My mom's a very generous person. One of her first passions was working with children who are deaf and hard of hearing. And then she worked with children with autism, and now she is an elementary school principal. So she just loves kids and is passionate about education and is always smiling like this. So yeah, that's my mom. That picture, that sums it up.
Thank you, Wick. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you. So as we do a quick set change, I'll explain a little bit about tonight's show. So each night in the series has a theme inspired by music from my forthcoming album of the same name, It Feels Like. And tonight the theme is Mom, and we are discussing all things mom with conversations and performances by very special guests, including the musical comedy duo Slanty Eyed Mama, violinist, author, and mom Rebecca Fischer, and cabaret and drag performer Daphne Always. So we will together be celebrating what it means to be a mom in many different ways. Moms, mom figures, how we nurture and heal in the world in many, many different ways. And asking ourselves, do moms really have super special powers? So I'd like to welcome our first guest, Slanty Eyed Mama. Welcome, welcome. Slanty Eyed Mama is Kate Rigg and Lyra's Hung. Thank you for being here and joining us on this special episode on moms.
So exciting.
So I wanted to invite you both to be on the show to talk about moms because I love the material that you sang at your show, Zombie Asian Moms. I love all the music that you perform. I also love how you embody motherhood through your music and as role models in the AAPI community, in music, in the queer communities as well, and through your activism.
So many isms.
So many isms.
All at the same time.
Right.
This one big intersectionalism.
Yes. Can you speak to that and also why your band name has Mama in it?
You want to say? You want me to say? Okay, I'll say. So we formed Slanty Eyed Mama about 15 years ago. We were out of the Juilliard School. I was in the drama division. Lyris was in, obviously, the music division. And we wanted to do something that incorporated spoken word and music. And I'm a natural comedian, sort of. So like a little comedy. But really, we wanted to speak the language of pop culture. And we wanted to do it from a distinctively Asian American point of view. So and at the time, 15 years ago, American Asians were not really included in the cultural discourse in America about race in America. We were not particularly included in that. And even now you'll see signs at rallies that say, I am an American, because there's been this long-standing perception of Asians living in America as foreigners sort of visiting and not actually being Americans. So we wanted to really speak the language of pop culture to make sure that we were messaging inside the language of media and culture that people listen to and that they learn about themselves from. So we were also reacting to this sort of exoticization and sort of racial I want to say not profiling, but the sort of racialization of American Asians as foreigners, and one of the oldest racial epithets is slanty-eyed. So we wanted to take something that was common to all of us, that a kind of perception and a sort of objectification and a racialization of us, and then something that also is common to us, a lot of us, which is having a mom. So Slanty Eyed Mama was our way of kind of saying we're going to speak this language that is common to all American Asians. We were referencing our own Asian mamas. We also thought it sounded cool. And we wanted to start a discussion. Like, we were purposely provocative in our name, very purposely, because we wanted to enter the discourse about race in America. So we used a provocative name to make that happen. And we were successful. We got invited to the Smithsonian Institute a couple times for Asian Heritage Month. We played lots of festivals, and we continue to tour colleges and places where people think about these things. So that's how it happened. And it was an homage to our mothers as well, a little bit.
Do you want to speak a little bit about your mothers and how they influenced
there's
zombie
talk
Asian
about how
moms?
your mom wasn't very typical of an Asian tiger mom.
My mom was really atypical. She was from Hong Kong, oldest of like 7. And she went and got her doctorate at Columbia in social work. So she ended up, going and starting different foundations to help immigrants in New York, and just kind of was a go-getter, pioneer kind of person. Like, did not kind of take any sort of
she was
stereotype
not a blushing,
or
delicate
she
lotus petal. That's right.
Just walk up to whatever she wanted and go for it. So
and she was an artist.
Yep, she was a.
And weirdly, Lyris is one of the few Asian children that was not forced to play the violin as a young child. She actually said, I want to do that, and they supported her, which is amazing. They didn't say, oh yeah, you can do that until you go to medical school.
Yeah, they
said
were
no.
very much like, do whatever makes you happy.
Which is astonishing. If anyone who has an Asian mom knows how astonishing
That's similar
that
to
how
to
dare
my
you?
mom.
How dare you?
Well, that's similar
No,
to
I
my
know,
mom.
it's great.
I think, it's very parallel, I think. My mom also both my parents really supported my musical studies. And
Well,
wanted me
my
to do
mother
it.
went to the grave screaming, not too late for medical school, and waving the Harvard Med School phone number at me as she expired. So was not typical. I had a very typical tiger mom. Not thrilled that I went to drama school, to put it mildly.
Do you want to talk about the music you're going to perform for us?
Oh, sure. Yeah. We're going to do 2 numbers. One of them is actually from the show Zombie Asian Moms, which is going to come out. We're in editing process for it. We made a concert movie of this. We premiered it at La Mama, ETC, which was one of our artistic homes here in New York City. We play there regularly, Joe's Pub, a couple other places, but that's one of our places that we play a lot because we do theatrical concerts. So we have a movie of Zombie Asian Moms, hopefully coming out this or next year if I can get it together with the editors. And then, so we're playing a number from that. And then our previous show, which we released as a concert movie, was called Happy, Lucky, Golden Tofu, Panda, Dragon, Good Time, Fun Show, the movie. And we premiered that also at La Mama, and then we toured it around the world, the Edinburgh Festival and a bunch of other places. And we're going to do a number from that as well. And both of them are about growing up Asian American.
Okay, let's hear it. Thank you.
Alrighty, let's do it. Let's do it, Greene Space. Come on. This is a totally different microphone than before. That's exciting for me. Okay, hold on a second. Everybody calm down a second. Wait a second, everybody. Is this the same mic just with a windscreen on it? Do I have to work with the windscreen, or I'm not a big fan of windscreens. Sorry, technical difficulty. Look, we fixed it. All right. All right, this first number is about one of the most traumatic things about growing up Asian in America. Here we go. Hey, mama, where you going with that lime green Tupperware? Yay, mama, why you looking so mean at my long black silky hair? I see you pull out those sharp kitchen shears. Yeah, the look on your face confirms all of my fears. Oh, mama, I see you put those garbage bags all over the floor. Why? Yay, mama, I know why you're taking out that kitchen stool. Not so cool. 'Cause I know how you roll with a bowl for my head, and I know I'm gonna be the biggest loser in school. 'Cause mama, you're giving me the bowl cut blues. Oh no, oh no. You've got me looking like someone put a hedgehog on my head. Why? Yeah, you've got me looking like a mushroom started playing violin. Oh, no. Sometimes I look like a toilet plunger turned upside down. Sometimes I look like a fire hydrant eating noodles for lunch. Oh, mama, you're giving me the bowl cut blues. This is what I'm talking about. I got the half moon blunt cut, thick-sided curvy bangs, no shape, round-headed mushroom top lollipop. Save $10 at Supercuts, homespun, hand-me-down, traditional, all-American Asian bowl cut blue. Yeah. I got the bowl cut blues. Let me tell you about growing up Asian in America, and a good kid does. I didn't protest when you made me play the violin. No, I didn't resist joining that math club like you asked me to. No, I didn't say no when you put all those weird fish cakes in my lunchbox. And every time I walk in the house, I took off my shoes. I watched you feed my friends some stinky fermented squid. I did everything that befits a good Asian kid. So why you gotta do me like this, mama? What'd I ever do to you? It don't help that Bruce Lee has one too. We got the half-moon blunt cut, thick-sided curvy bangs, no shape, round-headed mushroom top lollipop. Save $10 at Supercuts, homespun, hand-me-down, traditional, all-American Asian bowl cut blue. Yeah. Both me and Lyris hung, we had them too, yeah. In fact, most of the music department at Juilliard, they had it too, yeah. Even some white people like Joey Lawrence, they had it too, yeah. We got the bowl cut blues. Thank you, Mama. All right, all right, all right. This next one, also about growing up Asian, and this is about some of the questionable fashion choices that most Asian moms make. Here we go. You know, I really like to wear whatever clothes make me feel right. And I don't even care if my daughter says she don't like my pure mink coat in summer and my sunglasses at night. I wear a ring on every finger. In the winter I will white. And when I feel lonely for my people, I reach for cultural pride. I slip on plastic wedges and I go outside in my sandals and socks. These ones massage my feet. I got some sandals and socks, reflexology down the street. Sandals and socks tell ya I'm a practical mom. I like to keep my toes warm. I like a shoe that slips on. Hey, hey. I got some sunglasses by Gucci that I found in Chinatown. If you check my neck, then you'll see a silk scarf round all around. I like some sequins on a t-shirt. I wear cowboy boots in red. I wear an umbrella hat at picnics and my jewelry in bed. I'll add a fanny pack and a big-ass hat and a diamond brooch for flair. And if my daughter says I look insane, girl, I don't care. In my sandals and socks, Christmas socks have candy canes. Sandals and socks, I got some wooden ones in Spain. Sandals and socks tell ya I'm a practical mom. I like to keep my toes warm. I like a shoe that slips on. Hey, don't be embarrassed. You're no one to talk. You shamed the family when you dyed your hair blue. Sure, I like to shop at Goodwill in the 99-cent store. You know I love a bargain, but I love you more. In my sandals and socks, these ones massage my feet. Sandals and socks, reflexology down the street. Sandals and socks show ya I'm a practical mom. I like to keep my toes warm. I like a shoe that slips on it. Yeah, I like those little spikes that come up and massage the soles of my feet. I can rock a flip-flop sock combo on a busy street. I want you to pull up your socks, pull them up really out high. Show those two matching athletic stripes. One pair for the outside, one pair for inside. Asian moms always rocking their sandals and socks with pride. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Slanty Eyed Mama. Another round of applause for Slanty Eyed Mama. That was amazing. So we asked the audience about their moms.
Yes.
Questions about their moms, and we're going to share some of them.
Okay, great.
Yeah? Okay. So I would like for you. Okay. I'm with my mom. Kate, this is for you.
Okay.
All right. Lyris, this is for you. Okay. So the prompts were, when I became a mom, it felt like. When I'm with my mom, it feels like. And Lyris, can you read yours?
If I were to become a mom, I think it would feel like.
Okay. So let me start. When I became a mom, it felt like. Oh, by the way, I'm 6 months pregnant. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but
There's a baby.
So this whole theme is very, very timely to me. I don't know if it's easy to tell, but I'm 6 months pregnant. So I'm very curious. When I became a mom, it felt like, oh. Okay, I'll read a good one first. My heart exploded with love, and then and then it turns back. And then I got overwhelmed with responsibility, and now I go back and forth between them.
Sounds
All right.
All right.
Something to look forward to. Okay, this is a really good one. I vibrated at a higher frequency. I already feel like I'm vibrating at a higher
That's
frequency,
amazing.
actually. Yeah, ever since I became pregnant, I feel like...
I like the one that says being a raccoon mom. I don't know
Being
what
a-
it means, but I dig
Yeah,
it.
who wrote this? Being a raccoon mom.
I felt like I became a raccoon when I was a mom. You got really hungry? You wanted to randomly attack people if they came near you? What does it mean? You're like, is it you? Did you become a raccoon mom? Did you go through garbage more? What the hell? I want to know, who was it? Who became a raccoon mom? Oh, see, now they're not owning up to it.
No.
Did a
no.
dude write that? That's a funny one, though.
All right.
All right, mine says, when I'm with my mom, it feels like, this is my favorite answer, I'm always slightly annoyed. I feel like this was an Asian mom. It says, when I feel like my mom, it feels like, have you gained weight? Lost height? Are you okay? Are you sure? A little crazed. Is that an Asian mom who wrote that? It was.
Correct.
I know my people, you see. Because there's one that says, I feel happy and loved, and I know for sure that's not an Asian person who wrote that. But I have to have perfect posture might also be an Asian mom. Was that an Asian person who wrote that? No? Who wrote I have to have perfect posture? Why aren't you owning up to these? You wrote them. No. Did you write that? I have to have perfect posture when I'm with my mom? Is that yours? No? It's not like you wrote something horrible. It's like, all right, everybody's like freaking out over here. I feel like when I feel like I'm with my mom, I'm her mom. Yeah, I get it. And then some people said, love it, love it. So boring. Frantic, hilarious, and totally insanely loved. That's nice. That's a nice one. All right, what do you got?
Okay. If I were to become a mom, I think it would feel like. So there's a few of them here. I entered an alternative universe, riding a hang glider. I don't really know.
How riding a hang glider?
I don't know how that feels like.
Like
what that-
amazing and scary at the same
Okay.
time, maybe, and beautiful and.
Okay. And then there's learning another language / job discipline, parentheses, new career.
That sounds right.
A lot of work, but nice. And like I get to love someone.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Well, thank you very much, Slanty Eyed Mama,
Thank
for joining
you for
me.
having us. These
and
are
for
great.
performing. And thank you for audience members who submitted answers to our questions.
Hey, the show's so great. We can't wait to
And
watch
now,
the rest of it.
Yeah, and
All right.
now we're going to hear from some kids about their moms.
Okay, Francie, how would you describe your mom?
Which one? You?
Yeah.
A very musical person. A tired person.
Okay, what about Mama? How would you describe Mama?
Very plant-loving person. A very organized person. Yeah. Hi.
What's your name?
Viola Noel Thomas.
And what's your mom's name?
Susanna Ruth Kahn Thomas.
Do you know what she does for work?
Uh-huh. She is a public school teacher.
What's your favorite thing about your mom?
How much love she gives me and what she does to take care of me, like making me breakfast and picking me up from school.
Okay, how would you describe your mom?
Mom.
Very nice. I always get to spend time with her sometimes. And I just like her.
What's your favorite thing about your mom?
Well, I don't really have a favorite thing about my mom, but a couple of things that I like about her are that I can cuddle with her and she makes great food.
How would you describe your mom?
Nice. She's really kind. She is big-hearted. She is open-minded. She's an extrovert. She's not introverted. I'll call you introverted. Seriously? No.
Thank you to our wonderful kids for participating and their families. I'd like to now welcome my second guest, violinist, author, and mom, Rebecca Fischer. Hello.
Hello.
Rebecca, thank you for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me. As I knock water onto my violin.
I wanted to invite you because I wanted to talk about your book that you just released.
Yeah.
It released this Friday officially, right?
Yes, in New York.
The Sound of Memory,
Yeah.
Themes from a Violinist's Life. And I wanted to talk to you about the beautiful essays you wrote about being an artist, keeping true to your artistic identity, and also nurturing the various aspects of your life and being like a whole person, nurturing being a parent, being a partner, a mentor, and an educator. So my first question is, being a mom can mean being in between generations, which you write about. And being from a family of generations of musicians, what can you share about that?
Sure. Well, I think, my grandmother was a pianist, and then my mother is a pianist, and my children play music. So there really is, I'm part of 4 generations, at least so far, of musicians. And I thought I would read a little passage about my experience. This is actually the very opening of this book. About an experience of my mother, who is a pianist, hearing music in utero. I wake up in bed, my head resting on a few books. The shadows have lengthened across the floor. It must be almost evening. I have fallen asleep again after school. I try rolling over to stretch, but I am met with something more than a post-nap stupor. It is envelopment in the sensation of being protected. Soft, percussive sounds float up the staircase. My mother is practicing the piano downstairs. She plays at all times of the day and night, whenever she can find a few minutes. Perhaps it's the music that's making me feel so soothed. Whatever she practices is a part of me, like patterns of breath. I tug myself out of bed and head down the steps. The odd feeling persists. In fact, it intensifies as I pause on the wooden staircase. My mother's sound is warm. Her playing is spacious and lyrical. She is engrossed in the music, then stands up quickly, her eyes on my glazed expression. "Oh, I didn't see you there. Are you okay?" I tell her I am having something like an out-of-body experience and wonder if it might be associated with the music. She is quiet for a moment. "I haven't practiced this piece in many years," she muses, then smiles. "You know, the last time I played this particular Bach prelude was when I was 8 months pregnant with you."
Beautiful.
Thanks.
This episode poses these broad questions. What does it mean to be a mom? Do moms have special powers?
It's a very good question, because I was just speaking to somebody about that and thinking that I'm not sure that moms have special powers. We enter into an experience and we just make the best of it, and we try to bring our full selves into it. You encouraged me to read a passage about maybe one of my experiences of feeling challenged. And I thought I would read this. "The truth for me is that the minute after my first child was born, I was aware of having a larger purpose. I had spent so many years faithfully studying to become a better violinist, but when I had a child, my life suddenly roared into perspective. Life was thankfully less about me. As a result, I became a much better violinist and musician almost overnight, even though it might not have felt that way. 8 weeks after my older child was born, I played my first concert as a parent, and the entire event was altered. Backstage, there was a tiny person waiting for me, and in front of me laid a string quartet by Ludwig van Beethoven. Beforehand, the Beethoven would have meant everything, a formidable task requiring my entire being. No less formidable, now the Beethoven no longer inspired anxiety. It existed as another wondrous activity in a world that had become clearer now that I was a mother. The sky had widened. The performance was less personal, less about my specific execution. I was still humbled by the musical demands, but after we walked off stage, a member of my quartet remarked, "I'm not used to this level of confidence from you." Having children was a turning point, as when any person recognizes an essential aspect of their place in the universe. For me, embracing all complexity, it includes children. So I'm not sure if that's a superpower, but it just is reality. Yeah.
Well, that's really beautiful, because I was mentioning to you backstage an experience I had in college where I played a masterclass for a very famous master teacher. And before I played the Chopin Andante Spianato Grand Polonaise, which is a very big piece, he announced to me in front of the entire public audience that in his many years at Juilliard, he tells his female students that once they become mothers, they'll never play the piano again. And I carried that with me through my 20s. I really wondered if that was true. And then as I'm pregnant now, I worried, I think before I became pregnant, I worried about that possibility, but I really very much wanted to become pregnant and have a family with my husband. And that feeling has gone more and more away, I think. But a little bit of that anxiety is there in terms of what the future might look like for me as an artist and a mom. But your book gives me a lot of comfort.
Thank you. Well, it was, I felt like it was necessary for me to write about a lot of things. There are a lot of things in this book, including about being a mother and being an artist on the road and dealing with injury, dealing with performance anxiety, dealing with a lot of things that I wanted to make a certain kind of vulnerability visible to others out there, knowing all of us, we go about our daily lives. Sometimes those invisible realities are, well, they're invisible. So trying to make them a little bit more real, I guess. Yeah. So I'm glad you felt that way. Thanks.
Any final thoughts and words about the piece you're going to play for us?
Sure. Yeah. I was really honored and very excited to have you ask me to do this. And I wanted to share a piece. It's a song, actually, that was written for me by a friend and composer, Matthew First. And my partner, my husband, is a poet and a visual artist, and we collaborate pretty frequently. But he's written some really beautiful poems, and he wrote a series of poems called Apple Silence that he wrote on the subway when he was going back and forth between teaching gigs when our oldest child, who's here in the audience, hi, was very young, and we were tag team parenting and trying to make that work. And so he set one of these poems called Apple Silence, and the song is called For You, Little Ringlet One. And it's for singing violinists, so I'll be playing and singing.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's give a round of applause for Rebecca Fischer.
how much winter is. Cheddar silence eats the morning. Maple silence, dairy silence.
So beautiful. Thank you, Rebecca. That was so beautiful. I'm like hormone soup. Our next guest, her name is Daphne Always. She is a cabaret and drag performer. Daphne? Let's give a round of applause for Daphne.
Hello.
Hi, Daphne.
Hi. How you feeling?
Good. Very good. I mean, this is so compelling and spellbinding, wasn't it?
It's everyone's talking about moms. It's a very tender night. I'm feeling a lot of feelings.
Same.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. And
my goodness. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here. I wanted you on this episode about moms because coming from the cabaret and drag community, I wanted to ask you about the tradition of drag moms and daughters and the history and the roots of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it kind of comes from two directions. On one hand, there's sort of this ugly reality that a lot of times queer people aren't accepted by their families and are kicked out and kind of left to their own devices to figure out how they're going to make it in the world. And as a response to that, we kind of form these, systems of support, and that's how drag moms happen. It's usually an older, more established drag queen or queer person who kind of takes you under their wing and shows you the ropes of how to get around the community. If it's a drag mom, literally shows you the ropes of how to get yourself in drag and do your makeup and all that. So that's from the one side, is a necessity from not having that support system coming from somewhere else. And then I think on the other end of things, as much as maybe some of us would like to, a nuclear family isn't always a readily accessible option for a lot of queer people to create. And I know in my situation, I think my mom is my superhero. And I I've just been filled with all of this like love and care from her. And I think maybe if I had a body that could give birth, my life would look very different, and I would love to be a mother. But I think that performing in drag in the queer community is kind of the outlet where I can kind of like take all of that she gave me and like find somewhere else to put it, and participate in networks of nurture in that way.
That's so beautiful, because our mutual friend, Angelica Negron, said that there's a very maternal quality to you as a performer. And I wanted to ask you, can you talk about how you bring that philosophy of motherhood into your music, and how it may have been shaped by your experiences having a drag mom and also your biological mom?
Yeah, absolutely. So my biological mom is... Chatty Cathy. She's a ball of energy. She's a big old sunbeam to, whenever I was growing up, she was just always so generous of spirit and always did so much to make sure that everybody felt cared about. And my drag mom, her name was Misty Meaner, and Mocha Light. When I first came to the city to go to NYU, like I said, I have a beautiful relationship with my mom, but that doesn't mean that there's not complications when you come out as queer or come out as trans and you're exploring your identity. There are just some ways that it's really difficult for my mom to see her child, who she always understood as her son, and it's not a bad thing, it's just a complicated thing. And I kind of found Misty, and she really immediately made me feel welcomed, and she did my makeup for Night of a Thousand Gowns, and then she just said, like, hey, come on to my shows, like, here, do a number in the set, and just made sure that, like, there would be room for me, and that I would feel safe to do that. And in my own shows, like my weekly shows, I used to do a weekly at Club Cumming, Alan Cumming's place in the East Village. And it's so interesting when you're seeing a crowd of people on like a weekly basis in this sort of vulnerable nightlife setting, where drinking is usually involved, drinking and dancing, and this sort of openness. People can be really upfront about the care that they're looking for, and sort of just showing up and creating a space for everybody to come together and sort of like show their tenderness and desire to be cared for in that way. And to create those networks and systems for each other is probably, at this point in my life, the most wonderful way I've been able to find a system of motherhood. And I'm so grateful to have been able to do that, and it means the world to me.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's so amazing. I love the idea of choosing your own family and creating communities of nurturing and mothering each other, and having that come out through your performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing everybody here has in common is we're all artists, we're all performers. And I think, like, you and I were talking a little bit about, the creative process as like a gestation and birthing, and all sorts of different ways that you like take care of something, share it into the world, and then see how you can like help it flourish in that world.
Yes. Yeah, this show, I think I also wanted to share how, mothers we're not just birthing babies and kids, but also ideas and art and music and creativity. Yeah. Speaking of which, do you have any upcoming performances you'd like to share about?
I do.
Would you like to share a little bit about the song you're going to perform for us tonight?
Absolutely. Thank you. So a few upcoming shows. It is Pride season coming up. So June is busy for us. And I have a show at the Laurie Beachman Theater up in Hell's Kitchen on June 16th with my piano guy, James Shepard. It's actually our 5-year anniversary of doing shows together, which we realized the other day. And I have that. I'm doing the show called Polite Society at Lady Mendel's Tea Salon. It's my friend and roommate Tansy's show. It's like a salon at Elsie DeWolf's George and Brownstone space with just all sorts of performers who share numbers. And there is, for my birthday's June 26th, and the day before, June 25th, I'm doing a show at Super Secret Arts in Brooklyn, where I'm just going to curate a bunch of different performers of different genres and have a gorgeous party and celebrate Pride together.
Sounds fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, and the song you're going to perform for us?
So it's a song originally by an artist named Lindy Ortega, and I found it through a cover by an artist named Shamir, and it's called Lived and Died Alone, and it's a really tender, sweet song that is kind of about when people don't get the love that they need and kind of having this unshakable drive and desire to find a way to be the person to give it to them. And it really makes me feel in touch with the part of myself that wants to share the motherhood I was lucky enough to receive.
Beautiful. All right, Daphne Always.
Thank you. Speaking of artistic gestation, I just taught myself how to play the piano over the pandemic. So this, I suppose, would be in its infancy, we could say, this new skill of mine. Ooh, thank you. Love never came easily to me. There were no fish swimming in my sea. I resigned myself to the fact that I would always love, never to be loved back. And that's okay. I know someday, when the sun has set, I will go dig up the dead, lift their bodies from their graves, and I'll lay them in my bed to fill their hollow hearts with all my broken parts and all the love that they were never shown. To all those who've lived and died alone. I guess I thought it couldn't really hurt, this search for sweethearts underneath the dirt. And though they may be made of dust and bone, I will take them home from their lonely tombstone to be with me in the Dead Sea. When the sun has set, I will go dig up the dead, lift their bodies from their graves, and lay them in my bed to fill their hollow hearts with all my broken parts and all the love that they were never shown. To all those who've lived and died alone, to all those who've lived and died alone. And when the sun is set, I will go dig up the dead. I'll lift their bodies from their graves, and I'll lay them in my bed and fill their hollow hearts with all my broken parts and all the love that they were never shown. To all those who've lived and died alone, to all those who have lived and died alone.
Thank you, Daphne Always. Thank you also to Slanty Eyed Mama, Rebecca Fischer, and all my guests tonight. That's our show for tonight. I'd like to invite all the guests back up on the stage. And as we conclude tonight's episode, I'd like to again say how we celebrate all the ways we mom in this world, all the ways we give birth in this world through our creativity. And as a way to celebrate, we have some cake for everyone. We have some cake that we're gonna have to celebrate together. So I hope you could stick around and celebrate together with us and all the artists we have tonight. And I'm having a baby and becoming a mother in the most traditional sense, but I'm also birthing an album. It's called It Feels Like, and you can pre-order it. The promo code for this week is WNYC20. And tomorrow we're going to talk about remembering home. So thank you and have a good night.